Welcome to Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling, the ESPN for all things comedy, with your hosts, Mark Riccadonna and Richie Byrne. And now, grab a drink and welcome Mark Riccadonna and Richie Byrne.
Hey, welcome to Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. I'm your host, Mark Riccadonna. With me, as always,
Richie Byrne. Look, I got like kind of an Easter bunny tail.
It looks like an Easter bunny tail or Buster Poindexter. We got an awesome show today, man. I'm excited to dive right in. Should we? Well, first, you wanted to tell people about something.
Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. Well, let's bring everybody on, then I'll tell the story because I'm myself right now.
I'm proud of you too, man. So let's first bring out our other co-host that has been joining us since of recent, and hopefully we'll be back doing a lot more. Let's bring her out, Vicky Plummer. How you doing, Vicky?
Hello. I'm in New Hampshire at my mom's house, sitting on a daybed in the living room. So that's always fun.
Yeah, a little New Hampshire action.
New Hampshire.
Can't go wrong.
You know it.
You even got the New Hampshire style glasses.
Yeah. All in here. And look, isn't this lovely? We're just in our little teeny apartment.
Good time.
Happy to see you guys. I love your hair. You guys have the great hair today. It looks good.
I have my signature didn't comb it. Look.
Christ, Mark. It looks like you tried to make it look worse. Like you went.
It's my thing. I don't comb my hair. I don't know.
It looks good. I have to color the roots, so I tried to disguise that look. So there you go.
Just tell people that you're naturally that red, and the roots are what you dye.
See, there you go. There you go. Exactly. That's
what Guy Fieri does.
Right. He does his glasses like this, though. He puts them in the back. You know how he does that with the sunglasses? Who does that? I'd be afraid they're gonna fall off.
All right, let's bring out our guest. We have a great guest today. I'm so excited.
He looks bored in the dress in the back.
I'm so excited to have him come on. I spent a lot of time with him over the pandemic because we were working on a script together, and he's also he does all this work for MLB. We've had him on before, but good friend of the show, Mike Furno. Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were back there
No, I'm listening to my kids. I'm on vacation with my two children, 2 and 7, and what I realize is vacation is just parenting in a different location.
Yeah,
it's
I
not.
would think more parenting too. I would think there's added parenting to vacation.
Oh yeah, because there's the beach and then there's the pool, so it's like parenting with an element of possible, homicide happening. It was quiet for a second, and I turn around, and my 7-year-old's trying to stand on top of my 2-year-old in the pool. So all I see is these little hands coming up and floaties, and I was like, oh.
The narrator's he was found floating in the pool late at night. The father came running out screaming, you can't do that.
No. When did you go on vacation? When did you leave?
I left Friday, and honest to God, I really thought I was excited about it because it was so much money. I'm in Florida, and it was so much money to fly here. A friend of mine gave us a really nice house. We needed a vacation. We looked at flights. Flights were ridiculous because it's spring break. They were 4 times as much as they would be. It was insane. I was not paying $5,000 to fly my family to Florida. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's drive. Right. And everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I'm thinking I'm coming on a podcast on Tuesday, 24 hours in the car with my family. I should have some good material. No, uneventful, completely uneventful. Turns out if you give them iPads, you don't hear a word from them until the iPad spells.
Yeah, that's true. Changed, man.
Yeah. I think we're all at a certain age here. What did we do? Like, I remember my dad driving us to North Carolina, and he put the suitcases on the roof rack, and then we went in the back of the station wagon and just lied down and just stayed there in the back of the station wagon.
Well, do you want to see my imitation of my dad driving on vacation?
This is gonna be good.
Ready? Can
Yeah.
you see?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look, I feel.
This is my dad. Shut up. Don't stop touching her. Stop touching her, John. You stop touching. This is my brother. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. Like it happened in my face.
Yeah.
That was our iPad, though. That was like our iPad. Like I would have murdered me if I was that parent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the patience that they had. You understand the beatings much more now that you have kids.
And then I'm sure we've all heard, "Don't make me turn this car around." Do you guys remember that one?
Yeah.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, right.
I get to go home.
My mother used to do this thing with her teeth that was so scary. She'd be like, "If I start to talk to you again," and you'd be like, "Holy shit, what the hell is that? I'm going to kill you in your sleep."
Yeah.
Richie, when you do that, you look like a Pixar character.
I am a Pixar character.
Yeah, I don't
Michael,
know.
I gotta tell you, I was like, oh, let me find some info about him so I could ask him some questions. And I Googled your name, and this is what comes up: man arrested for impersonating Plattsburgh cop. I just want to tell you that.
That could be Mike.
That was a dark time in my life. No, that's not. That's not.
Oh, that's always fun. It happened in July, and harassed a female victim by knocking on her front door and announcing himself as a police officer to gain access. So you have a guy with the same
You
name.
sure you didn't look up Mark Riccadonna?
I was like, "Ooh, this guy's not."
I needed to use the bathroom. What do you want?
This definitely sounds like one of Riccadonna's friends. That's for sure. No, sadly, not me. Sadly.
So can I just tell you what I did that I'm proud of?
Yes.
Okay, so because I'm stupid, I only have one adapter because I really only need one adapter, and it's for my light, my ring light for the show. But I realized the other day that my phone was low. I was going to be somewhere, and I grabbed my adapter from the light. I brought it to the place, and I used my car extension for my phone with the adapter, which I was proud that I could do that, right? And now I totally forget that I did that. I don't know where the adapter is. I only have one. So I don't know where it is. So we're like 10 minutes away from go. That's why I was so late getting on, Mark. I'm like, I need my light. I need my light. So I look at the light and I look at the extension on the light and I see how it's connected. I go, well, that looks familiar to me. It looks like some other, and I realize that this is what I use for my mouse on my phone. It's the same. So I go, I wonder if I plug this into the adapter on my computer, will the light go on? And the fucking light went on. And I am like Merlin to myself. I'm like, I am unbelievable. And Richie said, let there be light. And there was light.
Richie, if you had that power, you would have had 3 days of rest instead of just Sunday.
I feel like we just got the first-hand perspective of when the caveman discovered fire. You know what I mean?
Fire, hot. Wheel.
Richie, fire. What chick wants to come to my cave now?
Yeah.
Hey.
New nickname. We got to call you like Techie instead of
Amazing now.
Old IT Richie.
Yeah. Let's call the IT department. Richie, can you help me with my computer?
Yeah. Speaking of IT department, Bannis, what the fuck do you mean? Nice to meet you. Here, your producer sends me an email that says, "Hey, Mike, nice to meet you." Like, this son of a bitch. I've been on this show 3 times. You read for my script, Banis.
He's on. This is how bad Tom is. He's on a different show right now. So I see him talking and laughing, and he's not even, he doesn't even know that you're killing him right now.
He's going to see it later. He's going to go, oh.
He's going to come on with, hey, Jen. Hey, Jen.
I said, Tom Banis. I'm like, that's your producer, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, what does he mean? Nice to meet you. Like, how stoned is he?
That would be something I would do.
Yeah.
He does have a name like a superhero's alter ego, doesn't he? Tom Banis.
Tom
Banis. Yeah. It definitely has a superhero kind of vibe to it. So I have to tell you guys a story. Speaking of the script, I've been sort of waiting to tell Mark this story. So Mark and I worked. He was you look. He's listening. I'm glad. Hope it hurt just a little bit because you got me right here, Tom. Right here.
Got him in the feelers.
You got me in the feelings. So Mark and I have been working on a script called Beached. Richie has been part of 2 readings and has been just, magnificent in his role, both his roles that he plays. And I mean that sincerely.
But what I cannot tell you how much fun we had doing that reading.
That last reading was aces. Like, that was
everybody's talking. But yeah.
And everybody was terrific. But so we had this reading and it went great and the script is going really well. And we've all been doing this for a while, right? So we know the highs and the lows of the business and all the yeah. So we live streamed it to a couple of people in the industry and they were all like, hey, listen, they're like, you shouldn't think low budget for this. They're like, this is really good. They're like, you should take a moment to sort of dream big and kind of go for it. Now, that's always nice to hear as an artist, right? And as a producer, somebody who's done this for a long time, you start to think about it because that's kind of what you always envision the projects to be. But there's always a sort of there's a hesitation with that because sometimes when you go bigger, right, and you start chasing the talk and everything along those lines, the project diverts and it's 3 years down the line and you're like, well, what happened to this? Then it just kind of peters off. Whereas if you
lose control of your project at times.
But it's not even lose control in the sense, yes, but it's not lose control in the sense of like you lose the thread, right? You start pulling the thread. Like, we sort of designed the movie to be a low budget movie, that we could do, right? The movie's supposed to be makeable, but now then, a friend of mine said you should bring this to Will Ferrell. Right. And I've worked with Will Ferrell before. So I was like, you know what? There's a great role. It's the Richie role, right? It's the one that you read for all the time. It's a 1-day role. It's really a 2-hour role. You know what I mean? So it's like, why not? Like, we have a side door into this guy. Everybody says the script is funny. Let's sort of take our swing. So the budget, which was originally supposed to be about $700,000, kind of went up to about like 1.1, 1.2 because it's on the beach. There's stunts. There's all this stuff that kind of has to go with it. But I'm like, all right, let's make a Will Ferrell budget. So it comes rolling in at $4.5 million, right? Right. That's still, for a movie that's going to involve Will Ferrell, it's still not a lot of money. But now you're starting to look at it and you're like, holy shit, like this is a lot of money. This is a lot of money. And so we get it to Will, go in, do the pitch, It was the whole dream scenario. Went into UTA corner office, the Beverly Hills Hotel, all the stuff. First class pitch. Went with the pitch. Felt really good about it, And then like 2 or 3 days later, Martin Lisak, who's Will's agent, calls me up, and Martin and I have worked together. Like I said, we did Ferrell Takes the Field, the Will Ferrell HBO movie where he played 10 positions in Major League Baseball. and my phone rings and I don't even know it's him. It just says wireless caller, Beverly Hills. So I pick it up and I'm
he's on a burner phone.
Right. And he doesn't say Mike, it's Martin. He just goes, yeah, he goes, it's me. Will's not going to do this fucking movie. Oh. So I was like, okay, all right. He's like, yeah, I'm not even going to bring it to him. I was like, well, why not? He's like, because Will's not doing this anymore. he's like working with Academy Award people and, you know, the Oscar people. Like, he's like, look, he's like, don't get me wrong, it's a nice little movie. And he starts, you know, reading through it, and he's like, here's what our readers, you know, did, you know, said, and which we got a 3 out of 5 from the UTA readers, which I think is a huge win, because it is
as a comedy, a raunchy comedy.
Raunchy comedy. So to get 3 out of 5 from UTA, I call it a win. But but then he's like, I was like, I'll tell you what, he's like, I like you. He's like, I like this. He's like, I get it. He's like, so I'm going to send you to our low budget guy, and he'll sit with you and he'll talk to you and everything along those lines. So that's kind of where we landed. And then I brought it to Dylan O'Brien at WME, and it passed their readers too. So they want to bring it to him, but we made it PG-13. So
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Did you send the script, or did you send the video that you made when we did the reading? Because I would, if Will Ferrell saw the reading of me playing the role that he's supposed to play, that right there would make him go, "Fuck, I can't do as good as that guy did."
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, there's no question about that.
Yeah, I can't.
Anything that anybody does to that character from this point forward is only building upon what you created.
Doesn't it kind of drive you crazy though when some of those big wigs say like, he's not going to do that though, he works with Academy Award winners, and how do you know? Like, he may be like, oh, I love this, I'd love to do it. You don't know.
But
you know what I mean?
Pays people to say that. That's it.
No, but like Vicky, look, you're right. You know, like, in my heart of hearts, right? Because I always want to believe the best. I always want to believe what I that I can do anything, is that I believe that, like, if I could sit down with Will and talk to him, like, you know, he might do this. But also everybody believes that. You know what I mean? Like, I went into this guy's office, like, this guy is like, he's the big agent at UTA. You know, he sits in the corner office.
Right, yeah. No, I know, I get it. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know, so just even to get them to read it sometimes is a win. But I'll tell you what, fuck those readers. Like, seriously, like fuck those people. Like,
yeah.
I get that they need that job, because I don't want to read scripts, right? But like, they're just frustrated screenwriters. And
totally.
Yeah.
This is what I always remember. I actually posted about this the other day. Whenever I feel down or like defeated about the business, I always remember the story of Ed Burns and how he made the Brothers McMullen, because he was like, graduated from film school. He knew he wanted to be an actor, director, and nobody was paying attention. And he was a gopher at Entertainment Tonight. And he just was like, you know what? I wrote this script. I'm going to do it myself. And he filmed it in New York, filmed it without permits and stuff, like in Central Park, in his own hometown, in his parents' house. Like, he had to get permission from his parents. Like, he's like, oh, you guys are out of town today? Great. We're going to film today, you guys. And he hired like actors that are now famous, but at the time weren't. And he filmed the Brothers McMullen. And then he was like, all right, now I got to get people to watch it. And since he was a gopher for Entertainment Tonight, they were doing, I think they were doing like an interview with Robert Redford, and he literally ran after him and handed him the movie as he was getting in the elevator. He's like, will you please watch this? And that's how he got into Sundance Film Festival. And then he won all these friggin' awards, and that's how he got his career started. And I just always remember that, like, tenacity of him just saying, like, look, I can do this. And that whenever I feel down, I think of that story. Just because
I'm going to combine two of you guys' stories.
No.
Ma, get the craft service and meatloaf.
Right. No, it just always makes me feel like, you know, okay.
I think it's great that we're seeing Vicky's first day in show business right here.
No, I just feel like
it is the magic.
That the big wigs always say, like, well, he won't do it. But Robert Redford watched that movie after all these people said, no, this is a bad movie. This is bad. And he's the one who runs that festival. And he's the one who said, no, this movie is amazing. And then it won all these awards. And that's when Ed Burns won, like, Best Director, but like all this stuff. And then Hollywood was like, oh my God, this guy's super talented. And now here he is 30 years later with this huge career, and he had to start over as like a journeyman actor, because they were like, well, we don't really know you and all that. But I I mean, that's
Yeah, and
that.
then he
I think
wrote that
that's
song, "You
amazing.
Swing Me Right Round Like a Record, Baby," right?
Oh yeah,
Wasn't that
not the same one, but you know what I mean.
him?
But I mean, I always feel like sometimes people think they know everything because they are the big wig with the corner office, but they don't know everything. Like if you catch somebody, maybe if you see Will somewhere randomly and you're like, hey, I have this script, you don't know. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, so that's why I always have that little spark of belief.
There's two sides to that story, right? There's the one which is playing on Richie's like, is this your first day in the business, Vicky? Which is like that definitely is the bullshit that they sell you. You know what I mean? Like it is the Christmas miracle, it is the lottery, it is the hey, look, charge $30,000 on your credit card, and you too could be Kevin Smith or Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were roommates that came out of nowhere. No, they weren't. Ben Affleck's mother was one of the most powerful fucking casting agents in the But I was a waiter, and Danny Aiello sat down at my table, and and when nobody else was listening, I pitched him, and then he took me to the Friars Club, and then we were in business. So you know, you have to try. That's why we took a swing with Will.
There you go.
The danger is, you know, and not to get all philosophical now, is like, are we hooked? Are we high on the supply now? Like, are we all left that reading feeling great, right? We all look at this project and want to believe everything that everybody's telling us, saying like, no, it's great. It could be big. It could be this. You're like, yes, it can be, you know? And then, so do you look and you're like, I'm going to do this now. Whereas like, you should have said, shit, man, we should have made this as like a $700,000 film like 4 years ago.
Right?
You know?
That's true. It's true. I just always feel like there are those little things. Like Carol Burnett is my idol, like my total idol. She would never have been anywhere if this guy who she will never name didn't like happen to see her in something at UCLA and give her enough money to come to New York City because he believed in her. And he said, don't ever tell who I am, just give someone else a chance. And she gave Vicki Lawrence her start. And
nice,
same kind of thing. And like it's so there's that human spark of like believing in somebody and giving them a chance. And so yes, I am totally Pollyanna. I am totally like that kind of person that believes in that kind of stuff. But yeah, Hollywood is not normally like that. But I always feel like there are those little pockets of stories of people that do good things for others. And so you never know. But
yeah.
Vicky, what time did you start drinking?
Shut up.
Speaking of drinking, we actually have a drinking guest on. We haven't went over what we're drinking.
Yep. Loyal Lemonade, because I'm in Florida, so I figured to try like the shit that people drink on the beach, and I can be sincere when I say that this is one of the worst things I've ever had in my entire life. That said, it's really doing what it's supposed to be doing on vacation, so I will be back in 30 seconds for my second.
So while he does that, I'll rifle off what I have. I have Rebel Hard Coffee. It's basically, it tastes like it's a mocha latte, and it really tastes just kind of like a Kahlua and coffee, but it's a little stronger than, I guess it has beer strength.
It has alcohol in it, though.
Yeah, it's 5% alcohol, so it's like a beer.
Nice.
9%
How about you?
alcohol by volume.
Richie, how about you, sir?
I poured myself a little JMO, but
nice.
I put it on the rocks in a Jack Daniel's glass, so I'm a little freaked out. I'm a little weird.
That's Irish American if I've ever heard of it before.
That's awesome. I have pink lemonade, but no alcohol. So there you go.
That's all right. You don't have to have alcohol.
Yeah.
I
Crack
usually
that up.
On the show because I'm usually at work. So
yes.
But you're on vacation, so live.
I do have a good joke though, because my first time on the show, I came on as a representative of Major League Baseball, so I couldn't tell a dirty joke. So I told just a really kind of lame joke. This time I got a pretty good joke. All right.
All right.
All right. So Bob and Horace are best friends, right?
I already like it.
Bob falls on hard times. And he's going to lose his house. So he's like, hey, Horace, can I borrow $50,000? Horace is like, of course, you're my best friend. Take it. No problem. Here's $50,000. About a year later, Bob falls ill and he needs a new kidney. So he says, Horace, can I have your kidney? And Horace says, of course, we're best friends. Take my kidney. So Horace gives Bob his kidney. So about a year later, Bob's feeling better, so he's pursuing a passion project. And so he goes to Horace. Hey, Horace, I wrote a screenplay. Would you read it? And Horace goes, fuck no, get out of here.
That's great.
Thank you.
The other night we had a really great scene night where we had a bunch of actors come together and we read a friend of ours, Mark Kay's One Acts, and Richie was in it. Of course, Richie's in anything that I'm involved in. And after the show, we sat around the bar and told actor jokes.
Yes.
I'll tell one, and then Richie, you tell one.
Okay.
I love actor jokes.
Briscoe's was great, even though he was too drunk to really get it out. But go ahead, tell you.
The world's worst actor gets a spot doing Shakespeare. He's on stage. He opens the show. Within the first act, people are hissing and, they were just disgusted by his work. So he starts working harder. He's working harder. By the second act, they're booing. They start booing and hissing at the stage. Boo, you suck. He turns and looks at the audience and goes, hey, don't look at me. I didn't write this shit.
That's a good one.
I love that.
I would tell the one Briscoe said. The actor is driving home, and as he's getting close to his home, he sees there's a fire. He sees smoke. As he's getting closer to his home, he sees more smoke. He sees flames. As he gets closer, he sees fire engines everywhere. He realizes his house is burning down. And he runs up, and the fire department stops him. He goes, no, that's my house. That's my house. What happened? And one of the firemen goes, well, your agent was here. And he set your house on fire. He slept with your wife. He killed your dog. And he kidnapped your kids. And the guy looks at the fireman and goes, my agent was at my house?
That's a good one.
Industry jokes.
There's nothing like industry jokes.
Yeah. That screenwriter joke, that screenplay joke was told to me by my buddy Alex Stenolaris, who won the Oscar for Birdman, right before I handed him our script. I was like, hey, funny joke. Would you please read my screenplay? I don't know about you guys, but I bristle, and then it sucks too because I'm a writer. You know what I mean? Like when people say hey, you want to read my screenplay? It's just really? Do I have to? I mean, I will, and I'll be as honest as I feel the person can handle about it. But
yeah,
right.
Well, it's tough because a lot of people, whenever they hear you have something going on, they immediately come to you with their idea. And they're like, hey, I have this thing. Could you help me get it along? And it's like, I'm trying to get my own shit done.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Stuff I worked on.
Yeah. Hey, can I come to that Will Ferrell meeting with you?
Why?
Come on. Only took me 28 years to get here. Sure. Why don't you Let
me just hand out little cups of famous.
I think, I don't know what it is that I would rather see bad comedy and bad acting than read bad writing. There's just something about a bad script. You know what I mean? And it's so easy for scripts to be not good. It's not easy to write a script like a good script. It's very easy to write a screenplay. It's very hard to write a good script. But when a script is bad, it's almost impossible to get through. At least with prose or acting or something along those lines, you could sort of focus on some other stuff. When you're reading a script, you're right there,
I'm always amazed at bad scripts that get made into bad movies. I'm like, how did this get made when there are so many scripts that are out there
relatives
waiting to be made? Yeah. I did one of those, when they do those, it hasn't been released to the public, and so you get to watch it first and you give your opinion. I did one of those last night, so I can't tell you what it was or who was in it and everything, but it was god awful. And I'm like, oh my God. And it had good people in it. And I was like, how did they sign on to film this terrible movie? Like, what made them want to make this? It was horrendous. Like, the only reason I finished watching it is because if you didn't get paid. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get paid, you know? So it was terrible. And the whole time I'm like, I know there are really good scripts just sitting there waiting to be made into movies. How did this one get picked?
The producer. It's not necessarily, I think, you get picked, right? Like, I think it's that who made it happen. That's I think that's really, like, honest to God, you know what I mean? Because like I've read some great scripts. Again, my friend Alex, he's got a script that like I love. I'm blown away by, and it's this great story about a father and a daughter and baseball and everything along those lines. He's got an Oscar, and he wants to get this movie made, and it's 4 or 5 years later, and it's not made, and it's like, why? Then you see something like on Netflix or whatever, and you're like, wow, that was a steaming turd.
Right? Yeah.
Steaming turd. I think it's got everything to do with who's trying to get it made. Like who's going to get it made. I'll tell you a story and it kind of encapsulates everything that we're talking about. So I came out of the gate with a documentary called Shorty. It was amazing. It's online right now. If you want to see it, just Google or YouTube Shorty, Hamden Sydney movie. It was a movie about a 56-year-old man with Down syndrome, college football coach, won film festivals, won awards, made money, the whole deal. I thought, hey, this is it. This is my first movie. This is Hollywood, right? Didn't realize that I had to go and scramble and raise money to do another documentary. So I ended up doing a documentary called Unconventional. It was as big as a joy as Shorty was. Unconventional was a fucking turd, like just a dying turd, right? But Michael Ruggiero, who at the time was the vice president of development for IFC, just as IFC was starting to really do like original programming, big fan of horror, saw it and recognized what was inside of it, right? Like the sort of intent behind this thing, and asked if we wanted to develop a TV series based on this shitty documentary. So it's like, of course we do, right? So we were working to develop it. We came up with the production Bible, wrote the first episode, everything along those lines. Seems like it was going to happen. Then Mike goes on vacation and says, I'll touch base with you when I get back from vacation. 2 weeks go by, I hear nothing. 3 weeks go by, I hear nothing. 4 weeks go by, I hear nothing. I finally get through to his office, except it's not his office anymore. He's left to go do some other job, and now there's a new VP of development at IFC, and she's wiping the slate clean because she wants to bring in all of her projects, right? So like you kind of follow that train. It's like, made a crappy movie. Like Unconventional really is garbage. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of reasons for it, but it's just not a good movie. That's plain and simple. But somebody in a position of power recognized it as like, there's some bones here. You develop it to where you're like, oh, okay, this is where it could go. And then all of a sudden, just a random act of fate, somebody comes in and says, I don't care. I don't care if it's good or not. I don't even want to see it. And it's gone.
Yeah.
And then you bring it out.
I had a pilot for Spike TV that they paid for, that I was part of. It wasn't my pilot, but I was one of the actors in it. And we shot it. It went really well. Had a really great cast, had a lot of positive things. And then Spike fired their president, brought on the irony, they brought on a female to be the president of Spike TV when they were really promoting that it was man TV. And she scrapped everything without even looking at it. She just scrapped it because it's a new regime. And then they bought all the backlogged episodes of Law and Order, and it became the Law and Order channel for a few years.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's crazy. Like, or you could run into Robert Redford in the elevator, or Danny Aiello at a fucking table.
It reminds me of when you go to a comedy club in the city and you're trying to get in with the booker. And you finally get in with the booker. You've been 6 months or whatever. You're doing guest spots, you're doing whatever. And the booker finally passes you. And a week later, he's gone. There's a new booker and you're out again. What the fuck just happened to you?
Yeah. Or you could be Chuck Schumer's niece too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, you could.
I just got some sides from that.
Who knows? Who knows? I've been doing it for a long time. One of the things that I've been very fortunate to in my career has been to work with and be surrounded by people who are at the top of their game, and athletes, actors, executives, business people. And I really try to listen around them, and I really try to observe to see kind of what makes them successful. And after all of these years, I could tell you, I still got no fucking idea. No, I'm serious. It seems like the easiest thing to do is just be born into it. That's an almost guarantee that you're going to be successful. Be born with money. And then,
right.
Outside of that, you could work hard. I know people who bust their ass, you know what I mean? Work 67 hours, and not just hard, but smart, but they don't kind of get it. And you know what I mean? And then you just meet these people who just you look at them and you're like, how are you in the position that you're in? But they just somehow just caught this really weird wave where the door opened and then the door opened and the door opened, TV hosts, right?
Yeah.
We've all done it, right? What separates the Matt Lauers or the whatevers from anybody else other than your sexual deviance? But you know what I mean?
I was just going to say that.
Other than self-locking doors and rape, but
right.
outside of that, but what is it? How did Matt Lauer get that job and not Mark Riccadonna? You know what I mean? Because just somehow it just worked. He just kind of caught that bump. Why did the Blair Witch Project work? Right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Found footage films. It's there's been found footage films since the days of Cannibal Holocaust.
Right.
But why was it that one? Because it wasn't a very good movie. The Blair Witch Project was not a very good movie. It had the secret of found footage kind of thing. But why Clerks? Clerks is a fun movie, but is it a $36 million movie? You know what I mean? Is it a movie that should have made $36 million in the box office? I don't know.
Yeah. It's the same way I feel about podcasting. Sometimes there are people that you hear blow up and they're doing, millions of listeners, and you listen to it and you're like, really? For this? Okay, I guess.
I'm looking at the more 76 here says Hollyweird is who you know, but that's not true. Yes, I mean, sure, you kind of have to know people to be in the know and whatever, but it's everybody knows people in Hollywood. You know what I mean? We all know people, right? Everybody here knows somebody. We all know
Riccadonna.
Yeah.
You're in trouble. Fuck you.
Well, it seems also kind of have you guys noticed through the years too, as far as movies and TV, it also seems what's trending. If you watch remember when Westerns, okay, fine, you guys are all laughing. I'm not going to be serious. You guys are laughing about stuff. So whatever. It's my mom. It's my mom.
Adjusting the thermostat. That was the best part.
She's too cute. Mom, do you need help with it? You guys want to say hi? She's gonna make some lunch now.
Get the meatloaf.
I told her I'd make her lunch after, but apparently she's hungry now.
Talking a long time.
We're Mom, it goes until 2:00. It's a podcast.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So then
I'm not gonna eat lunch at 2.
Okay. She's not gonna eat lunch at 2, you guys.
I get that.
I love your mom.
Isn't she great? She's so cute. She used to be a jazz singer in Philadelphia, and she has her headshot. I'll show you her headshot. She's gorgeous. Before she got married to my dad and all that kind of stuff. And
Biggest mistake of my life.
Did you hear what she shouted? Biggest mistake of my life. Marrying my dad, not being a jazz singer. She always goes, I should have been a comedian. And I'm like, you should have. See, she's shouting, I should have.
No, she still can.
She still can. She's hilarious. She's hilarious, you guys.
Because that matters in comedy.
Right? But she goes, but I don't plan on it. She's gonna steal the show. Yeah, see, she's gonna steal the show now. Very
just
funny.
the hand. You're telling the story, and just the hand coming in and slowly
Yeah,
adjusting.
it looked like a
That
zombie.
was like it was too much.
I had no idea she was doing that.
Yeah, that was spectacular.
What were you saying, Vicky? I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I had no idea my mom was like
You know
stealing
what?
the scene.
Though, Mike, I think that's why I love sports so much, because you can't hide talent in sports. You either have it or you don't.
True.
You know, and it's a cut and dry. Now you may not. There are guys, especially in basketball. You see guys who played and they didn't have the ability to work hard enough to get to the next level, and they might have been better than some of the guys who did. But it's still all that whole package together matters.
Yes.
And the elite will come. The cream will rise to the top, and I think that's why I love sports so much, because you can't say that in any of the art forms. You know?
Yeah, it's true. That's very, very true.
It's true. It's like Hollywood. There are the gatekeepers that are like, no, I'm in charge. You can't go any further. You know what I mean? Like you can be super talented and amazing, but if the doors won't open for you, if you're not, like you said, not that it's not the people that you know, but it's what were you saying before? Not the right people.
When the key's open for you, just how, you know what I mean? Like just who decides to open the door for you at that time.
Right. And sometimes it's like you just happen to be in the right place at the right time in the right company, and somebody's like, oh, I'm looking for this kind of movie, and you happen to have got the script. You're like, oh, I just wrote that. You know what I mean? Like,
right. So perfect example of that is that after that meeting at UTA, we went out to dinner with this couple, this amazing couple, and the wife is actually on our team for product placement, helping us raise money for the movie. I worked with the husband before. He's a high-powered attorney. We did a couple of things together, a couple of roasts together. Steve Garvey, Dave Winfield roast, hosted by Jamie at All Star in San Diego in 2018. But we're sitting there, we're talking, and then he just hands me a treatment, and he says, "What do you think of this?" And it's this story of a bunch of boxers in the 40s called Murderers Row. Okay. If you don't know it, look it up. I certainly didn't know it. So in the 40s, when Sugar Ray Robinson was the champ, there was this group of black boxers called Murderers Row, and they were so good and so terrifying that nobody would box them. They would only box each other. And so, you know, not to get into too many details, but it's this, I mean, like, think about it. Like, think about a story set in the 1940s about a group of black boxers, right, that only have to fight each other. America during that time, you got race, you got sport, you got everything in this movie. And the guy goes, "What do you think?" I said, I think that if you could make this movie, you could win an Oscar. And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah." And then he just picks up his phone. He dials a number and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "it's me." He goes, "Murderers Row." He goes, "It's back on." And I was just like, "What the fuck just happened?" You know what I mean? What, you know, like, I don't even know. Like, we were just having dinner and like having conversation about, I don't know, kids or something like that. What do you think of this? I think it could, you know, if you could make it, it could win an Oscar. That's, you know, and now again, who knows? It could have been like, he could have been just joking. We've all picked up the phone at the table and just some elaborate prank.
Wait, question one. Did he dial the phone?
Oh man!
He just, hello, President. Give me the.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. President. Send the nukes. Yeah, it's very possible. But that's what I'm saying. Like, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, and again, like, who am I to do that? But this guy apparently owns the rights to this story, and for whatever reason, at that moment in dinner, decided that my opinion on a screenplay was going to go make him like pursue the project. Now, something could happen. Nothing can happen. It's meaningless, but we're talking about the meaninglessness of our whole collective experience as to why some people are more successful than others. And, you know, I still don't know. I still have no idea.
Don't you feel like timing is important though in careers, and like sometimes things don't happen when you want them to happen, but then later on something will happen and it's even better than what you wanted it to be originally.
I think it's two things. I think timing is everything in this business, period, end of story. Like there's, you know what I mean? Like there's not, timing has more to do than talent and connections.
Yep.
It's not, you know.
Well, I've heard Richie's jokes. We're fucked as a group.
You leave my sweetheart alone there. That's my favorite actor.
Yeah, unless Will Ferrell calls you back.
Yeah, but you'll be the councilman then. Then you get to be the councilman. You know. Although Mark, we're bringing it to. I don't want to say the name because I don't want to jinx it, but let's just say that in the beginning of May, I have a meeting in Los Angeles with an older gentleman who at one time fronted a very famous band, may not have been the first frontman of that band, but yet maintained its level of success, enjoys the island life, enjoys rum, has his own series of
Tequila
bucks coming out, and we're going to speak to him, and we're going to offer him the role of the councilman, because the councilman, not Samuel, Councilman Larry, because Councilman Larry is now the lead singer of the band Parrot Head in the movie. So,
Can he not drive 55?
you know where his island is? I don't even know if the speed limit gets that high. You know?
That's so funny. So
At first, I thought you were saying Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, that's if we made a golf movie. Like if we ever want to get Alice Cooper involved in a project, let's make a golf movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Alice Cooper. I read his book. I laughed out loud several times where people turned and were like, "What are you?"
Yeah, he's tremendous.
He is a hysterical bastard.
I got to see him. I had to go do a thing with Motley Crue in Houston, and Motley Crue and Alice Cooper were playing a double bill, and
Oh my god.
they let me go backstage, and so Alice Cooper opened, Motley Crue was closing, and so I'm backstage. It really is like Spinal Tap when you're backstage at a rock show. It really is. And so like Alice Cooper's out there slaying, and he got this just amazing, gorgeous female guitarist. I think her name is Nita Strauss.
Yeah,
Yep. She's crushing it right now.
She's so good. She's so good. But
She came to Don Jameson's show 2 weeks ago.
Oh, lucky Don.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, did anybody watch your show, or were they just going like this?
Yeah. No, listen, when I was backstage, I saw her walking around. I'm like, damn, it's good to be a rock and roller. Like, I thought she was a groupie. And then all of a sudden I see her on stage playing a solo. I wanted to go up to her and be like, my sincerest apologies. But so anyway, so Cooper comes off stage and he's up there doing the whole like welcome to my night, just the whole thing. He comes walking off stage. He goes, you gotta get me a new snake. This fucker bites.
Oh my god.
It was such a Spinal Tap moment because he's out there being Alice Cooper, all creature, going back on stage like, you gotta get me a new one. This guy keeps biting me.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. What's the first movie that you ever wrote and had like actually made into a movie, and how'd you feel when you found out that was going to happen?
I've never made anything scripted into a movie.
Okay.
Never made anything scripted into a feature.
Okay.
I've done scripted TV. I've done scripted digital. You know what I mean, like that and stuff along those lines. I've never done a scripted feature. Yeah. So I'll let you know.
I was going to say yes. So this question will be answered very soon.
Yeah. Listen, it's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Will.
Like, I'm gonna it's going to
happen. I agree.
Because as Mark will tell you, Mark knows me, very well. Richie's getting to know me. I am a force of nature when I want to be. You know what I mean? Like
Don't tell him no.
Yeah, I've made my bones the last 25 years in this business being the tip of the spear. Most people have heard of the people that I've gone to war for, like that's kind of like, that's the thing. Like, I like being that guy. Like I like in my role in life to being like Hannibal of the A-Team. Like if there's a problem, that nobody else wants to deal with. You drop me and a small crew in a jungle. Don't ask any questions when it's done, and that problem will be taken care of. No, I'm
And that's
serious.
only if you can find him in the Los Angeles underground.
Right. I generally don't like the what comes with all the stuff. You know what I mean? Like being a general and everything along those lines. I like being a captain. I like being and so this is the first time that I'm putting my efforts into something that I really want to do. You know what I mean? Like I've made a lot of other people rich, which is fine. They could carry you. You know what I mean? Like you might not be them, but I am staying in one's house right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's not my house. I do get a week here, so it's so that's okay by me. But
if you're Hannibal, can Richie be TNA Baracus?
I have a sports question for you,
Okay.
Mr. MLB.
And we should probably make this our wrap up.
Is Aaron Judge a Yankee next year?
No.
Yeah. Is he a Met?
No. Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't put anything past George Steinbrenner II in Queens. So,
but I don't know that he's worth that many years. I mean, if he really is going to hold out for 9 years, that's a lot for a guy who's already 30. And
I mean, you're paying Garrett Cole $35 million until he's 36 years old.
Well, true, but you think? I mean, they're just the Yankees are no longer the Yankees when it comes to going. Fuck it, here's the money, right? I mean, Hal's changed that.
Yeah, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I've been following it, obviously, because I work for baseball, but I don't know. I don't know what's happening over there.
Yeah, I mean, but that guy is the face. I mean, Aaron Judge might be the face of baseball right now.
Probably Shohei Ohtani is the face of baseball.
You think? Dude, I don't know that. I don't think he is in the sense that if he were walking down the street, I wouldn't know that's Shohei Ohtani. But
if you saw Shohei Ohtani walking down the street, you'd know it was Shohei Ohtani. He is a gigantic person. Like,
yeah,
you can't miss him. I would say here's who I think is the face of baseball right now. Shohei Ohtani for sure. Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, Fernando Tatis Jr. definitely. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. definitely. Acuna, if he could stay healthy, will be a face of baseball.
But I'm just talking about people who don't know baseball. Know Aaron Judge. He transcends baseball. I don't know. Mike Trout doesn't.
Vicky, do you follow baseball at all?
I'm a huge Red Sox fan, so I know all the Red Sox players. I know who Aaron Judge is because I live in New York.
Yeah.
You know who Ronald is?
Do I know who Ronald who?
Do you know who Shohei Ohtani is?
I don't know that name, no.
Okay. All right. Fair. All right.
What team does he play on, though?
The Angels. That's part of the problem is two of our best players, Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, play on the West Coast.
On a mediocre team on a team that goes 500 every year.
Yeah, the Angels are going to be good this year, though.
I think you might be right, but I mean,
they're going to be good this year.
As long as
our season just started. We just started 2 weeks ago? 2.5 weeks ago. So I'll get to know all the players. We just started and we've played 4 teams so far. So we just had our home opener. We have the Jerry Remy tribute is tonight. So I gotta watch that.
I'm gonna become a Trout fan just so I can yell that. I feel like that's a little league player's name. Come on, Trout!
Yeah,
the Mets are good, Michael. Mets are really good.
They will be. They'll be good because come the trade deadline is that they're going to go out and make money.
Yeah.
Buck Showalter is he's a great manager.
He is.
There's going to be a lot of teams. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to look and be like, "Why did we not hire Buck Showalter?" Like they had 8 years to hire that guy. He's
Yeah.
I don't know. It's exciting. Baseball's exciting. The baseball's got a lot of things going on, so it's going to be fun to watch.
Baseball's the best, and I was so sad when we didn't have it during lockdown. But I was like, okay, we need to not have baseball. Then when they came out too soon, I was like, please close it up because everyone kept getting COVID. I was like, oh, maybe we don't have it. But how weird was it when we had cutouts of people in the stands? That was like the weirdest thing.
That happened. That was pretty dystopian.
That was so weird. Yeah.
Basketball too. The NBA was very weird.
Yeah.
How many Sam Donaldsons can fill a stadium?
No, and then when they would play fake cheers, you guys
I have
remember
no
how
idea why I picked him.
they'd have the cutouts and then the fake cheers? I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
weird. Like the fake screaming. I was like, oh, I can't. It was so odd to watch the game.
I gotta tell you though, the audio guys during COVID earned their money because I remember watching games, like listening to them like do the soundboard. I was like, wow, I kind of feel like this is exactly how the fans would sound as that went on.
All of a sudden they get a home run and you hear, oh shit, I hit the laugh track.
I love the Japan when they filled the stadium with sex dolls. Do you remember that?
I do. And robots. No, there was a video like I would say about 4 months into COVID where it was a Japanese baseball game, which by the way, if put that on the bucket list to go to because it's wild. But like there's nobody in the stadium, but there were these like dancing like robots and like fireworks, and it was like, oh my God, like George Orwell was right. Like
the thing is, I'm picturing those ones that you put the C batteries in the back, and they're like,
right? But bigger. But you know what I mean? Like it was, like, but bigger. It was just like, oh my God! Like we are careening toward every single movie in the 70s warned us about this shit.
You guys, I'm going to play you something that I think you're going to laugh your ass off. So my mom, you saw her. She is a huge, huge Red Sox fan. So last year we were in the playoffs, right? And she would call me every day and she'd be like, what station is the playoffs on? It's not on Nessun. And I'm like, it's Fox Sports 1. What is that? Fox Sports 1, FX1. She has a talking remote control because she can't see it, right? So she goes, I can see a little. I don't know if you heard that. So she would call me when I wasn't home, and she'd say stuff like, I don't know what channel it's on, and leave me passive aggressive messages, and I didn't know she was leaving me these. I'm going to play one for you. You guys want to hear it?
Missing the game because I don't know what station it's on, and it was on Nessun, and then they went to the game and blacked out, but they never said what the other station was. So I hope they win. I hope they have a nice evening. Bye.
Well, this is perfect because next week we have tune in, guys. We have Raylan Nelson, and we're gonna have Vicky's mom on.
That's right. We have Ray Lynn next week. That's great. Mike, great as usual, man. This was a fun hour.
Oh, I love it.
It's always a pleasure having you, man.
We got it. Listen, I mean this sincerely. Like, Mark, we got to do another read, right? Because I had to make the script from R to PG-13 for some of the brands that are coming in to play. And so, I made some changes and some adjustments. So I would love to get together with everybody and do like another read. Maybe not as crazy as the last one, but just to hear how it sounds. But
absolutely, I would love to.
Yeah. I think it would be great to, to do it again, but we can't cut out Richie's nudity scene.
No.
You look like Patton Oswalt up there.
And Tom says he would love to narrate it, but I don't know any Tom Banks.
Maybe I'll introduce you to him.
You could introduce me to that, yeah, because I don't know. I'm very protective of this script, so I don't want to deal with anybody that I don't know. So,
All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in next week. That was Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling.